everyone, welcome. Glad you're here today. Now today I'm using this floral fun stamp from Kraftin Kimmie's, and I've used it before and I've just done a single floral element with it. And today is Inspirational Wednesday for Kraftin Kimmie, and I'm inspired to try something new. I'm going to try to use all of the floral elements from that stamp set together and do some masking. And I've not done a lot of masking technique, and so I'm just going to give it a whirl today, and we'll see what we come up with. Now, I had this odd size panel that I was bringing in to stamp on, and then I thought I'm going to stamp everything down on my panel. So I thought I should probably start with an A2. I will wind up die cutting it down smaller, but we're just going to use the A2 size panel, and we're going to get stamping on here. And I'm going to lay it down here on my sticky mat. I flipped it over because it just didn't feel like it was sticky, and I feel like that helps. So I'm going to start with this floral element here, and this is going to be the first one that I'm going to stamp down, and I will mask it and then stamp the others on top of it. So I'm just going to bring in my Memento black ink, and I'm just going to give it a good inking, and we'll stamp it a couple times, I think, to get a really good clear inking on it. So I've just got my pressing tool, and I'm just going to stamp it down. And I'm going to do it one more time just so that we're good and crisp. Oh, actually, I'm not. Evidently, that one stamped up really well the first time. So we'll ink up this. I've just brought in a Post-it note that I had because I don't have any. My masking magic strips are just strips. I don't have a piece big enough for this floral. So I'm just going to use this, and I'm going to die cut it out. And I've put it on some double-sided adhesive. I'm fussy cutting it out. I said die cutting, I think. Anyway, and I didn't think you'd want to watch me fussy cut that all out. Now this is double-sided adhesive, and it is real sticky. So I'm going to pull this back off of it, and I'm going to actually stick it on my hand to try and get some of the sticky off. And then I'll actually take and stick it on my shirt and see if I can pick up some lint on it, so maybe it won't stick so hard. And I bumped my camera there. And I'm just going to lay it down on here. And I've created just a simple little mask. And you don't have to have masking magic or specific masking tape. You can kind of create your own like I did here. And it'll work out just fine. I'll just have to be careful how I pull it off of there. So I've got my image covered up, and now I'm going to bring in my other floral elements and kind of decide how I'm going to lay them on here so that I can get kind of like a bouquet arrangement here. And I'm going to bring the tulips in, I think, and put them on that side. And then we will bring the lilies in on that side. And then the, I don't know if those are corbels or what they are, but we're going to do those in the middle. Anyway, we'll stamp these up, or ink these up, and get them stamped up right over the top of that we've masked off. And I think this is where I have to re-ink. Yeah, this is where I re-ink. So I'll bring in my Memento and ink them up again and get them stamped down. So I just want to encourage you to take something old that you've worked with before and figure out a way to do something different with it. And that's kind of what I'm doing here. So I'll just clean up this stamp, get it off there. Then we're going to bring in that, I guess maybe those are bluebells or something like that. I don't know. And we're going to ink them up, and they'll be our center flower. Just give it a good press. And we're going to do it one more time, and then we'll pull off our masking paper. So I'm just going to use my 2-in-1 tool to just kind of lift it off, and I'm gently pulling it off. And if you wanted to, you could save this and reuse it. Mine actually rips. I actually rip the stems off, and so I'll just throw it out when I get done. But I'm just being real gentle because it is real sticky. Like I said, it was some double adhesive. But it comes up nice, and we're ready to go. And so now we're just ready to color our images. And I'm going to use a lot of different colors for these because we've got several different flowers, and I want it to be a fun bouquet. And I'm actually going to speed this up really fast because you're not going to want to sit and watch me color all of this at real time. I think the video was 43 minutes in total, and I'm going to get it down to, I think, under 14 minutes with speeding it up. So I'm going to start out with my stems and my leaves and get them all colored up in green. And I'm going to use 3 tones of every color for this coloring. I'm going to just do some blending, and hopefully we'll get some highlights and some lowlights, and it will look okay. So this is where I speed it up, and I'm just going to get to coloring on here. I'll just play some music while I'm coloring, and then we'll come back and assemble the card. So we're just finishing up on our coloring. We're getting our last floral element colored in, and I think it's coming together. I tried to use some colors that would kind of complement each other with the orange, yellow, and purple, and kind of a peachy pink. And just get the centers on this, and we've got everything colored up. And I'm going to actually bring in a die and die cut this down. And I'm going to bring in the etched emerald die set from Spellbinders, and I'll kind of fool around and try to decide how I'm going to cut this out. I wind up using the frame rather than the etched die to cut this out, and then I'll use the larger etched die to create a shaped card. And I'm still just kind of fooling around trying to decide what I'm going to do. And I want more of the floral element to show than what that smaller one. So I'll bring in the bigger one, and we'll be able to get, all of our floral element to show there. And then we can use the larger etched die to just create a shaped card, and that's what we're going to do. This is very simple. So we'll just get our, get this lined up, get this taped down, go to the die cutting machine, get it die cut out. And then we will bring in some colored heavy-duty cardstock, and we will create our card base using this larger etched die here. And I couldn't decide whether I wanted to use yellow or this darker orange, and I decided to go with the darker orange. And so I'm just going to actually bring in my score buddy and score this up, and then we'll create a card base, A2 size card base, and then we'll bring this emerald die here and cut it down, run it through the die cutting machine, and we'll put the edge on there so that it won't, you know, cut both of them in half. And I'm going to bring in some tape, line it up so I've got that edge just on the outside of my card, and then we just die cut it out. And because it's heavy cardstock, it didn't cut real well, so I'm going to grab my scissors and kind of snip off those corners, and then we'll have our shaped card. And this is going to be a top folding because of the angle, the way that we've positioned our panel there. And I'll just get all these bits out of the way, and we've got a nice little emerald shaped card, top folding card that we'll layer a panel on. It's only going to be one layer because I didn't have another die in between there, so I couldn't add an extra layer of color. And so I'm just going to get it laid down on here. It's going to be real simple, and we'll add some embellishment and a sentiment, and we'll get our card finished off. So my goal was just to kind of practice doing some masking and see how that worked with this stamp set. And I think it worked out pretty well. I was able to kind of get them all laid in there the way I want and kind of create a little floral scene. And I'm just going to use my acrylic block and stamp this sentiment down. And it stamps down really nice. And it says, "So grateful for you." And I'm going to bring in one of my little tiny dies and just line it up and die cut this out. And then we'll get it laid down on our card base. And I'm still using my washi tape. And I'm going to get it laid down on here. And where I lay it at is not where it will wind up. After I turn off the video and I start doing my pictures and such, I realize that my stems are just kind of hanging there. And so after I shut the camera off, I'll move my sentiment over to kind of cover up those stems so they're not just floating in air. And we'll kind of hide them with the sentiment. But for now, I'm going to offset it to the right side and kind of get into that orange there, but I do move it. And I'm going to bring in some gold Spellbinders enamel dots there, and we'll just add some of those to kind of fill in some of that white space and add a little shine to our card. And I think it came together all right. And I know now that I am capable of doing some pretty good masking with just the products that I have. So you'll notice when you see the picture that I have moved the sentiment over the stem. So thanks for watching. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.